Airbnb hosts, stop doing this. In this video, we're gonna list out all the things we see Airbnb hosts do that they shouldn't do. So don't fret. We're not gonna be like those other YouTube videos and then not tell you what to do instead. We're gonna give you what to do in your business.
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant.
And together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over 1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental. Don't set up your property thinking of only yourself and your personal preferences. For example, you might not like a television in your bedroom or living room. Guests that are used to hotels might like a television in their bedroom and the living room. You may not drink decaf coffee. Your guests might love decaf coffee and or tea. You might love throw pillows everywhere and tchotchkes and knickknacks. Well, your guests that have children, your cleaners are not gonna like that. Obviously, you can put your personality in there, your personal touches, but you just have to think it's gonna be used by a guest, not by you personally. What you can do to make sure you are guest ready is download our essentials checklist for guests. It will have everything in there that you need to ensure a 5-star overnight stay.
Even if you think you've got everything in your short-term rental, like you think you've got it all checked off, just take our challenge. Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. Download the checklist, go through your rental, see what you have, and let us know if there's actually something on there that's helpful that you don't have. Don't have photos. Unlike Zillow when you're buying a house and the picture lures someone in to check it out even more, with furnished rentals, short-term, mid-term, whatever, the picture is the opportunity on Airbnb and VRBO and most booking platforms for them to make that decision.
The only opportunity.
Only opportunity. So like for you to just take some photos with your iPhone, especially if you're not skilled on how to make iPhone photos look incredible or Android photos to look incredible or even like a camera.
Androids take photos?
I think they do.
Okay.
Do not waste this valuable real estate. Don't do all the things that you've done to set up your short-term rental and then represent it with crappy photos. Do invest in the photos. Now, I mean this in a couple ways. Do hire a photographer who's a professional and go a little even above and beyond that. Make sure they have experience taking photos for vacation rentals, short-term rentals, right? They're a little bit different than regular real estate photos. In addition to that, when they're taking the photo, make sure what they're taking photos of is ready for their close-up, right? You wanna make sure that the property is staged, the pillows are fluffed, the bed is perfect. You might even wanna get a little bit of lifestyle in there. Maybe you see someone holding the magazine, looking over your beautiful view on your patio. You can't really overdo the selling of your property on these platforms. There is a sea of online listings out there and you have to stand out. So make sure you are investing in these photos.
And use those photos. Like give the other amazing properties that you are drawn into, give those as a sample to your photographer and let them know, I want my home to portray the feeling that this short-term rental, this Airbnb is giving off in their listing. I think this is a great way to guide them and give them a shot list. So make sure you just don't let them go rogue.
Run wild.
You want to have a shot list prepared for them. And so you do need to do some research ahead of time, sit down, think about your whole home and give them that shot list to ensure you're making the best use of their time and your money. The photos look great and professional, but you've got to make sure that the clean is also professional. And this is for each and every guest need an immaculate stay. So make sure to check out our video on how to clean your Airbnb. Don't let your very first overnight guest be a complete stranger. And you're thinking like, but wait, Annette, isn't that all I'm going to be doing is opening up my home to strangers? Isn't that the point? Yes, absolutely. We are gladly going to be welcoming in tons of strangers into our home, but not after we've pressure tested our property, okay? And we want to pressure test it with a friend or family member. Do have that friend or family member stay just as a guest would stay, all the way from texting them the check-in instructions to having them actually spend the night, pack a bag, cook dinner, watch TV, connect to the Wi-Fi, fire up that fire pit or hot tub if you have one. Have them use the space just like a paying guest would. And those are little things like make sure they take a hot shower, they make a coffee in the morning. They're like using the oven, they're sleeping in the beds, they're charging their phones, they're testing the thermostat. There are so many just like little places where your guest is going to interact with the home, all the way from like parking their vehicle to, putting where's the trash can. There are just all of these things that you don't want to risk to your very first overnight stay being a complete stranger that's paying you. Make sure it's that trusted friend or family. And listen, when I say trusted, I actually mean trusted truth telling. You want someone that is going to tell you, hey, the water did not warm up quick enough in the shower. That coffee was not very good. Your Wi-Fi is slow as can be. Hey, I couldn't sleep because the sun rose so early that there were no blackout curtains and it was blaring in. There's a train that went by and I heard it in the middle of the night. You want that friend or family member that probably slightly annoys you most of the time by being so truthful. You actually want to reward them for being as truthful as possible on that first overnight stay.
One of our favorite hosting tools is Breezeway, and they are a proud sponsor of this YouTube video, and I am a proud user of their app. We use Breezeway's messaging system to automatically send the guest a text message asking them for that Google review. All the guest has to do is click that link, say a couple nice words, press send, and boom, you can start earning Google reviews so fast. And we do it all with Breezeway's messaging system. It's incredible. You gotta check it out today. Don't get offended when a guest asks you for a discount or to check in early or check in late or ask you to bend over backwards in one way, shape, or form. We set up so much time designing that guest experience, right? What time they'll check in so the cleaner has enough time to do their thing, so the guest can, check out at this time so that we can get ready for the next person. We've worked hard in our pricing and we feel like there's this value involved because oh my gosh, we put up that wallpaper, we painted these walls, we brought in all these really cool pieces. Don't they understand this value is fair?
We put our blood, sweat, tears, and a large amount of money down.
I get it. I get it. And I'm telling this to you because I've let myself get offended and it's just not worth it. Okay. Put yourself in your guest's shoes. There are some people, when it comes to discounting, they just have to ask. My dad, all the other dads, and then this one, they just have to ask.
Like a game.
It is
I need
like
a
a
coupon
game.
code. We just asked somebody for a discount yesterday. A two for one or a two for something. He gave us 5% off.
So first of all, just put yourself in that frame. You're okay. You can stand firm in how you respond in saying no. I always say it's no, but, or we can't offer that price, but that, you spin it around to be a positive outcome for both you and the guest. When it comes to asking for special accommodations, we've had guests ask us I see that you have a Keurig. I really like a drip coffee. And really think about that. Maybe this guest is actually having the courage to ask you and they're paying attention to your listing. Maybe there are other guests who also don't I'm just making this up, a Keurig and want a drip coffee instead. So instead of getting offended because you've worked so hard to set it a certain way, instead put yourself in their shoes, take a deep breath, and take it into consideration. Do remain flexible. When it comes to discounting, don't just agree with what the potential guest is asking. You're my potential guest. What potential guest is asking for, go back to your pricing strategy and see what you can offer this guest, right? See if there is some wiggle room and a win-win situation for both you and this guest, because this guest, potential guest, is a warm lead, is a hot lead.
Hot, yeah, I'm super hot.
And so you really want to take that into consideration when you're considering what they're asking you for. When it comes to other things of bending over backwards, again, just take that frame of mind, put yourself in their shoes and see if it actually would make your rental better in the long run, or at least gets you thinking outside this box that you've put yourself in, because it's been such a hard, uphill battle in terms of getting your property ready. You put a lot of work, sweat, and tears into it, and money. We get that. Just remain flexible. TFE pro tip.
You can charge for early check-in and late checkout.
And you should.
This is by far going to be your number one request. I mean, forever probably. When you start, once you've had 10 reservations, 100 reservations, guests are still gonna ask for this. Either they wanna check in early or they wanna check out late. And we understand that a lot of hosts want to be as hospitable as possible and give as much to their guests, like, oh, they wanna check in early, check out late. You need to set boundaries here. If it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and the house is clean, absolutely you can let them check in. But that's not normally what the guest is asking for. The guest normally wants to check in hours early. Like, let's say check-in's at 4. Can we check in at 10 because I have a wedding that day? Or, hey, can we check out at 4? Our flight isn't till 6. That is way, way over the normal check-in and check-out. And this is an opportunity for you to really be hospitable, but also add revenue to your bottom line.
It really is how you present it to the guest. And you could even, before they even ask you, tell them that you're willing to offer this up. And for us in our business, we say, we are unable to grant early check-ins or late checkouts until the day of your arrival or checkout because we're not quite sure how the previous guest is going to leave the space. And you don't. That guest prior could leave the heaviest footprint and your cleaner is gonna need all the time that they can have to get it ready. So first we preface it with that. It's like, ask us the day of and we can let you know. If you need to guarantee that you're in there early, we recommend you booking the night before. The day of, please ask us or let us know what time you'd like to check in. If it's just 30 minutes, an hour, maybe even 2 hours if you really want to be flexible and the place is ready, absolutely, it would be our absolute pleasure to accommodate that request. However, if it's any earlier than 2 hours before your scheduled arrival time, we do charge a convenience fee that we share with our cleaning team or that helps us offset the extra coordination that it takes to make sure that you can have that early check-in. And when you present it to a guest like this, I will tell you, in our decade plus of hosting, a handful of guests might tell you, never mind, or no, that's okay. And you can choose to say, I hope you understand this is why we have these boundaries in place or why we have these prices in place. But I'm telling you, for the most part, actually, as filming this, our videographer right now, as we were getting ready to press record, was like, I wish I knew which hosts would be willing to let me pay a little bit more to arrive earlier, because sometimes I'm afraid to ask, or I don't know if they'd be willing to do that. So I'm telling you, it's a great way. You already have that guest coming. They want a little something, you get a little something for that extra coordination on your end, and it's a great way to add some revenue to your bottom line. Don't over-communicate with your guests. We know you're in this because you want to be hospitable. You want to make sure that your guest is comfortable. Is there anything that you can do? But honestly, they're traveling to relax. They're traveling to attend a business meeting, to visit a family member. So if you're always trying to get them to engage with you or sending too many messages, it can almost go against the very thing that you're trying to do in the first place. Set up automated messages. We have the core automated messages that we like to set up in our business for all of the new properties that we put into our portfolio. And this way it's you're communicating just enough so they have what they need, but not overdoing it.
Don't abuse your Ring camera. Seriously, stop it. Just stop it.
Delete the app.
No, hosts that are like glued to their Ring app, looking at, the comings and goings of their guests. Like, don't be that host. Like, we are all here to up-level what it means to be a host in this whole entire industry. And listen, it will drive you batty. The Ring camera is there for the protection of your property and your guest. Let the camera do its job. You micromanaging it isn't going to help anything. Okay? We just see this. It's like, and we all do it. Maybe we do it with social media, but hosts do it with their Ring camera. Just stop. Put a boundary on it.
How would you feel if when you were arriving to vacation rental with you and your family and you knew that host was watching you arrive? Some of you might say, well, I wouldn't care because I'm not doing anything wrong. But I'm telling you, there are some privacy things there that it feels icky.
Yeah, like for example, I know when I'm checking into a hotel, when I'm in the hotel hallway, I know there are cameras, quote unquote, watching, But I know there most likely isn't somebody behind the screen monitoring like, oh, that girl's going to the snack shack again. You know, like they're not doing that. So it's like the cameras are there to protect when we need to reference the cameras, not be watched 24/7. Do be a responsible host and neighbor, you know, host in your community. And the way to do that is to put a noise monitor inside your property, okay? And you're probably thinking now, wait a second, you don't want me looking at outdoor cameras, but now you want me to install something inside? Yes, absolutely, because it is not a camera. It is not recording in any way, shape, or form. It's just listening to the decibels. And this is a way that you can tell, are there more guests than my house can hold? Are my guests being a little bit, you know, noisy? This is something that you can use. And what I love about Minute and Rest Easy, they will actually send automated messages to your guest for you so that you, again, don't have to be monitoring it and have that maybe awkward interaction. But this is a great way to protect your property, protect your neighborhood, and also just protect your guests. Make sure your guest is being a great guest.
Check our show notes. We've got a great deal for you where you can try a noise monitoring device with a little discount added in there. Don't only want 5-star reviews on Airbnb. Getting reviews on Airbnb is awesome. Go for it. Ask for them. Remember, you can ask for your guests. Remind your guest how important a testimonial from them is for you and your small business, because you are a small business owner. But if you're only thinking about getting reviews from your guests on Airbnb, you're thinking too small. Do start thinking about building your reputation on Google. So if you're like a lot of hosts these days, the modern hosts, as Annette calls them, and you are first listing on Airbnb and not direct booking, like direct booking is not your first place you're showing up for people to book your place, Airbnb actually is, that's okay. That's great. I would say after your first 15 reviews on Airbnb, because that's Airbnb asks them to leave you a review, you can automate a message within the Airbnb. It's very simple. It's kind of built in, reminding the guests that this is very important for them to do for you. So I like that. It's like baby stepping into the whole review world. But once you have about 15, which should be in most cases, I don't know, 3 or 4 months of hosting, now I want you to start thinking about building your reputation on Google. What you need to do is get a Google for your business, a Google account for your business. You will need an address for it so that Google can send you a postcard to verify that you are indeed real. It doesn't have to be the address of your property. It can be either your personal address or an address where maybe it's like your hub for all things that you do in your life. This could vary for all of you hosts very differently. But what you can do then is after the guest checks out, and you know that the stay was great, you can automate a message to go out, or you can do it personally if you want, and have the link ready for them to just click on and write a positive review. And you can let them know, like, thank you so much for staying with us. If you left us a review on Airbnb, that means so much. We are trying to build up a reputation locally via Google, and we could really use your help. You can copy and paste. You can even, I know some hosts actually tell them, you know, kind of what to say. Make it as easy as possible is the name of the game. But start getting your reputation on Google solidified. This will help you too when you start doing your direct bookings. It'll help you with that reputation. It'll help you with that SEO for your business to start not relying on Airbnb for all of your guest lead generation. Want to level up even more? Check out this video about creating your own loyalty program. With that, I am Sarah Karakayan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting.